Hi, and welcome to Busy Center launch event, and welcome to this session about VAT enhancements in Busy Center. Let's make introduction what we will talk about today. First, I will try to explain what is new and why we did it, then what is changed in the system, and I will show you some demo. Okay, first, let's see what is new and why we did it inside the system. If you look in what is new in VAT, mostly you can find actually only one new field, VAT date. This is one new field, and we can start with general ledger setup, where you can set up default value for VAT date. And when you choose default value, you can choose between posting date and document date. By default, it will be based on posting date, because right now all VAT statements and returns were based on posting date. We didn't want to make some breaking changes, and if you don't need this new feature, if you don't want to use VAT date different from posting date, for example, you can just continue with using. Even almost all reports will be by default based on new VAT date. This new VAT date will be absolutely the same as a posting date, and you don't need to take care if there is some difference. But as we are starting with new field, just to know, system will update VAT date in all existing entries and posted documents. But as I mentioned, as we have default VAT date based on posting date, the same situation will be with this automatic update. Completely automatic update in all entries and posted documents will be based on posting date. Okay, now let's look what we have as a new VAT date flow. As I already started with general ledger setup, this is the first place, and in general ledger setup you can choose what you will use as default VAT date, as I said, posting date or document date. You can use one of these two. And when you create document, any type of documents, never mind sales order, purchase order, invoice, credit memo, service documents, and so on, in all these documents, if this document is applicable with VAT, your VAT date, new field VAT date, will be absolutely enabled, and value inside will be based on default VAT date configuration. Okay, but if you want to change VAT date, because this is not necessary to be the same as a posting date or document date, you can do it manually. You can edit VAT date if you need without any problem. That means you can have one posting date, another document date, and third date for VAT date. Everything is on you, depends on what you need. Okay, now we have document, we have populated VAT date, and when we post this document, we will get VAT date in posted document absolutely the same as we had in non-posted documents, in some order or invoice, whatever. And that means VAT date will be the same. The same situation as the posting date, document date. But this VAT date will be added to VAT entries and general ledger entries as well. We added in both of these tables VAT date. Even on the first place we need VAT date for VAT entries, but in most cases accountants will compare VAT account in general ledger with VAT entries. And if we have VAT entries based on VAT date and reporting based on VAT date, on the other side, if we have general ledger entries based on posting date, it will be definitely pretty complicated to compare and reconcile these two tables. And because of that, we have VAT date in general ledger entries as well. But now we can say this is the end of the process, but this is not the end of the process. In some of situations, actually this is based on some specific country and markets, there is a chance that you can get different VAT date after posting document. First, maybe you just made mistake. Maybe it will be accidentally you choose wrong VAT date, whatever. But in some situation, for example, if you export your goods and your custom control need to prepare some documents, it can be situation in some countries that VAT date will be different because you will get official VAT date for custom control. And you already posted document because you had to have this documentation for custom control. But now when you get this information from custom control, you can change your VAT date without any problem. This is not only one reason. I just mentioned one, probably the most important reason, actually two reasons. But if you have some other reasons why you will like to change your VAT date, you can do this. What is important when you change VAT date, actually you will change VAT date in VAT entries, but when you change VAT entries, VAT date will be updated in both general ledger entries and related posting document. This is important to understand. Now, why we started all this story. We got from BC Ideas this request, and you can see on screen this proposal is for an option for VAT statements and returns to be based on document date instead of posting date. There is a conflict between concept around month-end and VAT tax points. We got this requirement for one of countries, but when we started to think about that, on the first sight, it didn't look so good to just change posting date to document date, because again, in some markets, VAT returns will be based on posting date, and if I'm not wrong, on the most of markets, maybe I'm wrong, but in some countries, maybe it will be based on document date. But after that, I made some research, actually, we made some research, and we found that there is a lot of markets where you have even more, that you can have different VAT date from document date and posting date. And because of that, we decided to add this new field, VAT date. And if you are one of these two options, if you want to report based on posting date to document date, what you need to do, you just need to configure your general ledger setup to use posting or document date, and system will work as you want it. But by any case, if you want to have different VAT date, you can do it on document before posting, or eventually even after posting, changing VAT date to VAT entries. Okay, let's look what is changed. We made a lot of changes on many different tables, and I wanted first to group them in a few different types. First, as you already saw, we have this general ledger setup. And after that, we have in documents and posted documents as well, but we have in journals also. We have in entries, and then you can find VAT return, VAT statements, and some other VAT reports and different reporting for VAT. If you look in objects, where exactly you can use VAT date, you can see this table, and that means in almost all processes you can use now VAT date. You can start with purchase, both in non-post and posted documents, or non-posted you have purchase invoice, purchase order, purchase credit memo, the same with sales invoice, sales order, sales credit memo. In posted documents you can find, of course, posted purchase or sales invoice, posted purchase and sales credit memo. Then you have in service order, service invoice, service credit memo, the same situation with posted documents for service. Then even more, we added VAT date to reminder and issue reminder for finance charge memo and issue finance charge memo. You also can use archiving, because we added VAT date to sales and purchase archive. That means if you want to archive and you want to keep VAT date in one of high versions, you can archive and then you can use one of these versions back. Then we have a third package of objects, the journals, and you can find VAT date in general journal, purchase journal, sales journal, and item journal as well. Now, when you look where we have VAT date in entries, I already mentioned where we have on this VAT date flow. But let's look how it looks like. First, on VAT entries, you can find that VAT date is on the first place before posting date, because VAT entry is primarily sorted based on VAT date. This is date which we will use for reporting. But if you look at general ledger entries, as I said, we have VAT date in general ledger entry as well, but this is not in the beginning, because general ledger entries are based on posting date. But you can find VAT date as well, and there is no any limitation when you want to filter both of these tables based on VAT date. You can compare general ledger account for VAT with VAT entries. You can make reconciliation. You can use different reports based on general ledger or VAT entries without any problems, and that's good. Then, as I said, we have in reporting. And then let's look what is new in VAT statement, for example. VAT statement, you can find this new option, period data type. Period date type. And you can choose posting date, document date, and VAT date. As I said, in most of reports, you will not have this option. In most of reports, you will have still just to add date, but this date will be based on VAT date. But the statement is pretty sensitive document, and we still have, and we will still have maybe some behavior of using posting date. We just wanted to avoid some misunderstanding and potential issues with VAT, and you can choose VAT statement to be based on VAT date, as we recommend, as a new date, or you still can use posting date or eventual document date as well. Based on what you configure here, your starting and ending date will be related to this configuration. Okay, now let's make some demo for better understanding how this looks like. Okay, first I will start with general ledger setup. And when you look in general ledger setup, this is something what you already saw on my slide. You can find here default VAT date, and by default it will be posting date. But as I want to show different behavior, I will change this to document date. And now all my documents, actually all VAT date in all my documents will be based on document date. Let's make some example. For example, we can start with sales invoice. Okay, let's create new sales invoice. Okay, I made typo. Okay, now I'm using correctly customer name. And you can see that posting date and VAT date are the same. Why? Because, okay, we don't have a document date by default here, but when I click on show more, you can see now we have document date as well, because by default, document date and posting date will be here the same. And what I can do, I will change, for example, VAT date, VAT document date to, I don't know, for example, different. This is April 20. Now you will see posting date is still April 11, but VAT date is changed to April 20. But if I want to move VAT date to the next month, for example, May 3rd, there is no any limitation. That means I have one date for document date, another for posting, and third date for VAT date. There is no any limitation, as I said. Now let's just post something. Okay. Quantity will be 1. Okay, price 10,000. Okay. VAT is 25%. Now I can post document and just keep in mind what we have as the dates. April 20 document, April 11 posting, and May 3rd for VAT date. Okay, do you want to post? Yes, I want. Okay, I want to open document. And now you will see in post document. Okay, VAT date is in May 3rd. Okay, posting date is as we wanted, and if I find document date, you can see the document date is April 20. Everything the same as we had in our non-post document. Now let's look in entries. First, I would like to check general ledger entries. Okay, posting date is April 11, but when you look in a VAT date, you will see this is May 3rd. This is as we wanted. Okay, now I will check in VAT entry, and VAT entry May 3rd, posting date April 11, everything as we wanted, as we posted. But now let's make some changes. I want to change this date. I just need to open edit list, and you will see I cannot change posting date or document date, but VAT date I can change. I made a mistake. I wanted, for example, May 1st. Okay, I finish with this. Let's give a okay. Now when I go back and when I look in general ledger entry, I hope it will be May 1st as we changed, and you can see VAT date is May 1st. Posting date is still the same, there is no difference. And let's look in document. In document, VAT date is May 1st. That means there is no problem, you can change posting date without any issues. Okay, now what I would like to show you, we can run, for example, VAT statement. And if I click calculate and post VAT statement, as I said, now we have this period date type, and I will choose VAT date. And let's look in May. Okay. Ending date May 31st. Posting date May 31st, for example, test, and if I'm not wrong, just some account. Okay, we can show VAT entries, for example. We will not post it, just want to show preview. And when we look in preview, okay, we can find this one document, 10,000 and 2,500 as a VAT amount. This is what we got, but if I run the same report but based on posting date, okay, we will not get any result because posting date was April 11, if you remember. This is more or less what is different here. Now we can use some other documents. Let's show, for example, okay, this is sales list. We can use the same VAT date here as a filter. As I said, there is no option right now here. You cannot choose, this is based on posting of VAT date. This is VAT date by default. And you can say, okay, May 1st, May 31st. If I okay with date, I hope I didn't make a mistake. And you will see that we have our 10,000 crown list. Okay, let's look, just to make short overview. If you look, for example, in a purchase document, I just show, for example, purchase order. If I create your purchase order, okay, show more, document date, posting date, VAT date. If I change to April 1st, you will see that VAT date is April 1st. And as I said, we can change to any other without any problem, and the same behavior with all other documents. This is more or less what we have with VAT date. The same behavior is expected in journals, in other documents, and so on. But this is in general what we have in Business Central related with VAT, whole VAT actually, but related with VAT date news. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and I hope we provided good value